Alongside head basketball coach Kevin Walsh, John Edwards with you. And coach, it's been a while, and glad you were able to stop in. But it's a busy week for the basketball program. Home games tonight against Chaminade. Friday night, Painted Pink night against Slough High. 2 MCC contests, and it doesn't get any tougher than tonight.
No, it's our conference as always is tough. I think I looked at the last Post-Dispatch rankings, and it was like 2, 3, and 5. DeSmet, CBC, and Chaminade are up there, and Slough High's playing a lot better basketball. Lost to DeSmet by like 6 last night, so tonight will be a great challenge. Chaminade has a great team, tremendous depth, great athleticism. They've got several high-level Division I prospects on their team, and it's a great challenge for us. One that I tell our guys truthfully, we're blessed to have the opportunity to play and to compete against these guys that, in a year or two we'll be watching on television, and a lot of schools don't play a Division I caliber player in an entire season, and we get to do it night after night, and it's a great challenge for us. It can be hard sometimes, but it's good for our guys.
Despite how difficult it is for some of these kids who haven't gotten the minutes at that varsity level, seeing some of these kids, how have they been able to mature throughout the season?
Well, I've been really, really impressed with our resiliency. I think that our guys, regardless of outcome, which is so hard sometimes in the world we live in, that they come back and they're ready to practice every day, and they're working hard on their games. They're in early. They're trying to get better, and they recognize that, truthfully, we were talking before we went on, we haven't had our complete lineup for a game yet this year. And so the experience that we're accruing and the opportunities that we've had have really helped us, and our guys are learning from them, and they're trying to apply them at practice and during games, and we're seeing improvement. It doesn't always happen on the scoreboard per se, but we've been a tough team. We've been a competitive team. We haven't backed down from the best teams on our schedule, and so that's going to help us down the road. We've talked kind of all year that this is a 2-year process, and we're not even halfway through yet. So I've been really pleased with the resiliency of our guys.
You've always emphasized to your team that it's a 32-minute game. A lot of times this year there's been lapses, especially at the beginning of quarters, whether it be a second quarter or a third quarter, where you've been very close in these games, but then you have that lapse for 4 minutes and things kind of slip away.
Yeah, we've played a lot of 28-minute games, to be quite frank, and sometimes I think coaches get too much credit, and that was a great halftime speech, they jumped out, you guys had a great third quarter. It's not necessarily a halftime speech or adjustment, but the challenge for our guys is to play a full 32 minutes, and when we're 7 deep really right now, and guys are playing 30 minutes a night, not to make an excuse, but we ask them to do so much defensively, and what we run offensively requires them to be locked in. There's really no place for them to take a break, and given the quality of our schedule, they got to be locked in all the time, and so when they're not, it can really get away from us. And a lot of people talk about how defense can set up your offense. You get steals and you run out. I really think our offense sets our defense. When we get good shots and we make shots, we're able to get our pressure set, and then that sort of puts the offense on their heels. And those 4-minute segments, if you look at it, we turn the ball over too much or we miss a bunch of shots, and that forces us to scramble more on defense, and that's been a real challenge for us to overcome, and getting those guys to understand, like, hey, you can't get it all back at once, but let's take that 4-minute run, make it a 2-minute run. Let's take that 2-minute run, make it a 1-minute run, and some of that comes with experience and maturity.
A lot of times in these games, your offense, you say, sets up the defense. You're very patient with the ball offensively. When you guys move the ball, and it seems like 4 or 5 guys are touching the ball in an offensive set. How hard is it to control them from wanting to get out and run fast breaks if honestly you're trying to keep the tempo at your own tempo?
Well, and again, sometimes it depends on opponent and who we're playing. We certainly want to get out and go as much as we can, but in the half court, we want to move the ball and we want to touch it, and we try to stress to our guys, a good shot a better shot and the best shot. And a lot of times that comes with making an extra pass or sometimes another extra pass. We feel like offensively we have an advantage if the defense has to start chasing us, because then they just can't out-athlete us. And so we kind of talk about good, better, best. And our guys understand that. They know when it's time to push and we want to go, we'll go. You know, I think Bobby Braun and now that Gabe Anderson's playing, they've done a nice job of being rim runners, and we've gotten some easy ones to rim. I mean, we tell them all the time, the name of the game on offense is to score. And if we can go get one in transition, an uncontested layup at the rim, why wouldn't we take it? In the half court, we got to share it and move it, and we got to make the defense chase us, and they understand that pretty well. We have some really pretty possessions of offensive basketball. Sometimes we don't get rewarded because we don't make the shot, but for the most part, we share it pretty well, and it's an unselfish group.
Offensively, your team has been fairly balanced scoring-wise, with Bobby being the leader in the scoring department, also leads the team in rebounds.
Yep.
And you've really done a nice job, the team has done a nice job scoring balanced basketball. And how does that work, especially when you go up against a team like Chaminade tonight? You know they're going to come out, they're going to want to try to close Bobby down because he's led the team in scoring so far this year.
Yeah, you know, speaking of Bobby, I mean, he's just been great this year. You know, he's a kid that played on our sophomore team during his freshman year, and we elected not to move him up to the varsity, let him get another year's seasoning. And we weren't quite sure what we were going to get, but he's really emerged as an outstanding low post threat for us. And more we've been playing through him, and he's responded. He's had several 20-point games against really high caliber post players on our schedule. So he's done great. In terms of trying to be balanced, you know, I think our guys understand, you know, if Adam Sissel's got his feet set and open, we want him to shoot that, and if we can get Ethan going downhill. Ethan is such a key to creating shots for our guys and for himself, because he's quick and his vision is so good that he makes a lot of great decisions. You know, it's funny, I think in our first 6 games this year we had 6 different leading scorers, so we've been able to spread it around and kind of find that hot hand, and our guys, you know, I don't think any of them have an expectation like I've got to get the most shots or I've got to be the leading scorer. They just want to find the next best shot.
Talk about Ethan distributing the ball. He's almost 6 assists a game for you, and how important is it for him? He's not the guy who's really going to shoot the ball for you. He's going to be the guy that's going to distribute it for a layup.
You know, we ask so much of him. I mean, if you look at it, how often the ball is in his hands against top-level pressure all the time, he is so important to us, you know. He was sick yesterday from school, wasn't at practice, and it was kind of like, whoa, like for 3 years now, he's been a guy that we've just put the ball in his hands all the time. And, you know, he's still learning and growing, and you know, teams are coming at him and sending 2 at him to kind of cut the head off the snake, so to speak. So he's learning how to get rid of it a little bit earlier and trust his teammates that he may not be the guy that makes the pass that is the assist. He might make the pass that leads to the pass that gets the basket. And that's kind of his continued evolution, because teams are coming at him more and more to try to take him out of his rhythm and thus take us out of our rhythm.
We talk about a big week, Chaminade tonight, Friday night, Painted Pink night. Talk about the importance of Painted Pink night and then everything that goes on with that.
Yeah, Painted Pink is this Friday night against SLU, and it's a special night here. It's our 11th annual. We've been doing it for 11 years. I really started it trying to just get our moms more involved in our program. And it's taken off, and every year we have a great group of moms who just run with it and make it a very special night. We're selling T-shirts right now in our Commons area, and you know, to see our stands packed with people wearing hot pink. And then I think it's also a little more special as one of our fellow teachers, Mrs. Carrie Mitchell, is battling cancer, and to kind of represent her and let her know we're supporting her and fighting with her as she battles cancer. It's a special night. It's a special event. It's kind of become, in a lot of ways, like a winter homecoming. A lot of alums come back and families come back who have been a part of it. So it's a special night. You
donning the pink suit Friday night?
Pink sport coat. Kind of a fuchsia, maybe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're a little different this year?
Yeah, you know, the full pink suit was pleated, So that's not quite in style anymore, and it was 3-buttoned, so it's not 2003 anymore, so I decided to upgrade. And so it's a little darker pink, but it's pretty ugly.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it fits.
Coach, I always appreciate a few minutes.
Thank you, sir.
Kevin Walsh, the head coach of the basketball team. They play tonight against Chaminade. 6:30 start. That game will be seen on Griffin's TV. Friday night, 7 o'clock start. Painted Pink night, 7 o'clock also on Griffin's TV.